All right, folks, we are back with part two of our interview with Noor. That's the name he is going by. He's a whistleblower, former member of Alton Nolan's mosque. That's the mosque in Oklahoma City, the Mosque of the Islamic Society of Greater Oklahoma City, the same mosque that Alton Nolan attended. He, of course, beheaded his co-worker in Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago. Noor, after we've established that you were there until 2003, converted away from Islam, then went back working for the police undercover in one capacity or another from 06 to 011. Talk about what you heard, taught, or spoken about at that mosque that troubles you and should trouble all of us, in your opinion.
As I mentioned before, some of the things that were talked about was the choice that is to be offered to all non-Muslims at one point or another, that you're going to have to either convert, live under Islamic rule, and pay the jizya or poll tax and live in submission to an Islamic state or caliphate. And the last choice that you have, if you reject those two, is to be fought against, which is jihad fi sabilillah, jihad for the sake of Allah. Other things that were brought to my attention that bothered me was an open support among Muslims, not among when anyone else was around, but among Muslims, an open support for Hamas and other groups that supported suicide bombings in Israel. And the way it was explained to me is that this was acceptable because this is the only weapon that the Palestinians have. But it was told to me that do not speak to the media about this because they wouldn't understand. Excuse me. Other instances were not necessarily an open support for Osama bin Laden, because most people were not necessarily that silly to say that, but I was told by two mosque members that if Osama bin Laden came to their door, they would invite him in and would protect him from law enforcement because he's a Muslim brother, and we have to protect him from the unbelievers. Later, I was invited to go up north of Oklahoma City with a couple other white converts to Islam, and we were going to shoot some weapons. Now, of course, I'm from Oklahoma City. I was raised with guns. That doesn't bother me at all. But I was disturbed when we got up there and the targets were laid out when one of the converts said, well, this target is going to be George W. Bush, and this one is going to be Ariel Sharon. Other things, I later talked to this same convert, and the subject of Iraq came up. This was probably 3 or 4 years later. I can't remember exactly. But I asked him about terrorist acts in Iraq, like beheadings and suicide bombings and IEDs and whatnot. And he said, this is perfectly fine because this is a Muslim country, and we have to do everything we can to get the Crusaders out of Muslim land.
All right, Noor, let me ask you, based on everything you just said, you know that the Justice Department is about to propose or institute where federal law enforcement will be prohibited from bringing people like you into mosques to surveil. All federal law enforcement will be prohibited from profiling by religion or ethnicity. Obama, according to reports I have from Robert Spencer, who's joining us, said that Obama sent a message to that particular mosque, Oklahoma City, offering them reassurance that they are part of the fabric of America. Does Obama not get it, or what?
Absolutely not. And there's a lot. He's not the only one. Most people in America are under some kind of false assumption that there are two forms of Islam, that there's the Islam that's preached by peaceful Muslims, and that was preached by Muhammad, and then there's the religion of extremists like Al-Qaeda and ISIS and whatnot. But if you actually go back and look at the plain text of Islam, including the Quran and the Hadith, which are the sayings and doings of the Prophet Muhammad, who is considered a walking Quran and the perfect example to Muslims to follow, not the opinion of some scholar.
We only got 20 seconds. We only got 20 seconds, Noor. So America needs to wake up. Obama needs to wake up. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. The texts are out there for anybody to look at.
All right, Noor, I got to go. I really appreciate your bravery and you coming on, and maybe we'll speak again. Thank you, sir. Give Me Five is next, folks.